Welcome to Game Face on FLSportsFan.com. Pennant fever grips Tampa Bay as the Rays streak toward the playoffs. Is there a quarterback controversy in Florida? As in, is the Heisman going to go to someone other than Tim Tebow this year? And finally, the Miami Dolphins 0-2, calling out the Patriots. How smart is that? We're talking about it with our friend, the sports addict, Gary Fineout. We'll start with the Rays. Gary, they've never been above 500, but streaking toward the playoffs. How great is that for baseball?
It's an amazing story, Ron. And I just, you look at their record last year, they were last in the American League East, and now they've surged to the front. They're within striking distance of taking the AL East, and I think it's an amazing story. They have a great young staff. They have Evan Longoria. I mean, this is just great for baseball fans in Florida.
And I'm a Marlins fan because I'm from South Florida originally, but no matter who you are, you've got to be rooting for this team. They are the story of the year in MLB, and with one of the lowest payrolls, they've got the biggest outcome. How terrific is that, and what does that say to these overpriced players and teams?
They do have a low payroll. I will say, it's great that they're going to get into the playoffs. Now, we have to see what happens once they get there. They're going to be playing some very tough teams. I mean, they did take the season series against Boston, and
Big deal, that is.
Well, but Boston's probably going to be in the playoffs. Whoever comes from that Boston LA Angels pennant.
Oh, Gary, get over it. Come on, this is the Rays year. Let's get into it. We're Florida fans.
All right, let's get into it. The Rays, you got it.
That's it. And the Marlins, by the way, having a great end of the season. Probably not going to make the playoffs, but how about this finish they're going with?
Well, no, I think it's really great. The Marlins are really showing that they did have I happen to think at the beginning of the season, most people would have thought the Marlins were a better shot to make the playoffs than the Rays. That's how fantastic this story is. And way to go, Tampa Bay.
All right, moving on to college football. How do you spell Heisman? Could it be Grothy? I'm not going to spell Grothy, but that's the University of South Florida quarterback who's tearing it up in this early season.
Stunning performance last week against Kansas. I watched the game. I was in awe of what that young man did. He basically won the game.
Absolutely.
They looked like they were gonna look like they were just gonna fold in front of Kansas, and he brought them back from the dead. And what I will tell you right now is Tim Tebow, he better get his act together, or else he's gonna find himself losing the Heisman to either Grothy or somebody else in the nation right now.
Hey, as long as we keep it in Florida, I think it's fine. I think Tim Tebow would rather the Gators win a championship than worry about repeating as the Heisman winner. But it's great for college football, and it's great for Florida to see more strong teams emerging in the Sunshine State. All right, moving on to pro sports. How crazy is this? The winless Miami Dolphins calling out the New England Patriots, who are probably the greatest team of the last 100 years in pro football. Is it stupid? Hold on. Penalty flag. Joey Porter, what were you thinking, if you were thinking at all?
Well, Ron, okay, hold on. Now, this is where I want to call a flag on the people in the sports media business, because I don't understand this. You go in, you ask somebody, and you want them to tell you the truth. So in this instance, Joey Porter tells the truth. Then he gets slammed because he's smack talking. He's trash talking. Well, what is it? Do you want him to tell the truth, or do you want him to give some boring, pat, cliche answer? All he said was, Matt Castle isn't Tom Brady.
He's not. Gary. Tom Brady did not win those Super Bowls without the 21 other players and the backups around him. Do you think they're not going to be going after Joey Porter and the Dolphins, who are likely to come out of this contest 0-3?
Well, what I would admit is the Dolphins so far have a lot of problems, and not the least of which whether or not they've got a brewing quarterback controversy with Chad Henne versus Chad Pennington. But all I'm saying is it's just like the T.O. business of a couple of years ago. If a player tells the truth, why do they then get beat up for it?
Some truths don't need to be spoken. Very quickly, the Jaguars off to a disappointing start. Tampa Bay doing pretty good. What do you think about overall NFL in Florida?
What I think about overall NFL is the Jaguars are proving to be a huge disappointment. That offensive line problems obviously causing great problems. Maurice Jones-Drew is now banged up. I think we're possibly looking at the Jaguars having a losing season and not even coming close to the playoffs. The Bucs, I think they still look like they have a chance, although I have to tell you, I don't think Brian Griese's the answer at quarterback in any way or form.
All right, you're watching Game Face on FLSportsFan.com with our friend, the sports addict, Gary Fineout. It's going to be a great sports weekend in Florida. You dang Skippy. You go and root for your team. We'll see you next time on Game Face.